listening to the Fun with Horror podcast with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hey, everybody, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Scotty.
And welcome to episode 117 of Fun with Horror.
Andrew, we have a bit of a bonus episode today.
We do have a bit of a bonus episode today.
So it's that time of year again.
Yes, it is. It is.
And the interesting thing this year is that we always talk about how hard to watch this movie is.
Yes.
You know, we've talked about that a lot. But, I feel like as the years have gone by, this movie it's kind of changed in the public perception a little bit. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree with you on this. Yeah. People definitely talk about it differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
People had stuff to say about it when it came out. But now, I don't know, time has passed and, it's found a new audience or
sure.
People watching it and thinking about it differently.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. This is definitely one of those movies. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we are talking about 2008's Twilight.
You're beautiful.
Beautiful. This is the skin of a killer, Bill.
Yes, we are.
Directed by Catherine Hardwicke.
That's right.
It was written by Melissa Rosenberg. That was the screenplay now.
Right.
But of course, it was based on the famous book by Stephanie Meyer.
Correct.
Or Mayer. Is it Mayer or Meyer? Do you know?
It's Meyer.
Meyer. I thought so.
Yeah.
So, why don't we talk about Twilight?
Let's do it. Let's talk about Twilight.
Hello. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to introduce myself last week. I'm Edward Cullen. You're Bella?
Yes.
So as we said, Twilight was directed by Catherine Hardwicke. It stars Kristen Stewart as Bella, Robert Pattinson as
Edward Cullen.
Yeah, oh, man. Last name, too. I should have said Bella Swan.
You should have. You fool.
Who else is in this movie?
Taylor Lautner is in this.
Yes.
Jacob, and I actually don't know Jacob's last name.
Jacob Wolfboy.
That's it. That's right.
I don't know his last name either.
I don't know if they ever say it. Jacob Black.
Jacob Black. Oh, man. Millions of fans of this movie are screaming at us right now.
Yep. Little Anna Kendrick is in this movie.
Anna Kendrick, yes.
Fun to see.
Ashley Greene.
Ashley Greene is in this movie. Yes, she is.
Rochelle Lefebvre.
Correct.
Okay, that's one I thought of. Oh, hey, Christian Serratos, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about her. Yeah, we'll talk about her, buddy.
All right.
But anyway, people, if you haven't seen Twilight, Andrew and I are going to spoil the entire movie. So this is your warning to turn back now if you don't want Twilight spoiled for you.
Yes.
But here we go. 3-minute recap, buddy.
Yes.
We're going to roll a die.
Oh, boy.
And this time it's we're just saying you're odd. If it's odd, you're doing it.
Oh.
If it's even, I'm going to do it.
Here we go.
Rolling the die. It's 17 again.
Oh my God.
It was 17 for the last episode. And now it's 17
Lord.
again.
Wow. Like the movie 17 again, starring Zac Efron.
But I got to say,
yeah,
I have heard from many vampires and many werewolves this week. Getting prepared for this movie, I wanted to do my research.
Yeah.
And to a person, they all said, we really hope that Andrew does a 3-minute recap for this movie. Yeah, man.
That's really sweet.
You are a king among the vampire and werewolf communities. I want you to know that.
I was hoping so, man. I've been doing a lot of promoting in those communities, so that's great. That's really good.
Which one the most?
Bears mostly. So
werebears.
Yeah, Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a man among the people, buddy. I love you.
I try, man. I try. That's why I'm busy.
Well, anyway, whenever you're
Oh,
ready,
boy.
you got 3 minutes. Let's hear it.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Oh man. All right. I don't know if I'll need 3. So Bella Swan, Kristen Stewart's character, lives with her mom in Arizona, but her mom is remarried and they decide to go on, I don't know, cross-country trip or something. So she's gonna go live with her dad in Forks, Washington. When she gets there, she like immediately makes this group of friends, which okay. She does this, and they're at this town at Forks, excuse me. We see this other family, the Cullens, who are all very pale and a little don't talk to anyone, essentially. But boy, are they good looking. And so, Bella Swan, Bella eventually sits next to Edward Cullen, one of them, who has a freak out when she sits next to him and runs away. And she's like, all right, rude. But then he's super nice later. And at one point, she's out on the parking lot and a car is about to hit her. And Edward is just there all of a sudden and stops the car from hitting her with his super strength, apparently. And so Bella is kind of infatuated with him, and he's kind of infatuated with her, but he's all up and down. There's a lot of weird hormones in this movie. But eventually she's like, something's different about this guy. He's like really strong and fast. And so she gets this book and realizes through research, I guess, that he's a vampire. And during all this, also, there's been these quote unquote animal attacks on people in this town. Spoiler alert, it's vampires, but different vampires, because the Cullens, as we find out, and they are vampires. We'll talk all about that. They are vampires, but they're like good vampires. Like they suck the blood of animals instead of people or deer. I don't remember, something like that, because they don't want to hurt people. Anyway, so eventually Bella and Edward kind of become a couple, and she's like welcomed into his family as, you know, a friend or whatever. And eventually there's a big battle. I'm jumping right to the end. There's a battle with these bad vampires and the good vampires, where eventually they kill the lead bad vampire. And then it sets it up for 2, 3, and 4, and 5 or something. There you go.
Buddy, you
Oh,
came
they play
in.
baseball.
Oh, you said it.
They play baseball.
I was about to mention that I can't believe you left out the baseball scene
They play baseball. Yes. Sorry.
while Muse played.
Well, Muse did play. That's all I can say of it, too.
That's it.
That's it.
Buddy, you came in just under 3 minutes. That was amazing.
Yes.
You've made the vampire and werewolf communities proud.
I hope so, man. I do. I really do.
So this is interesting because we do this every year
We do.
on April 1st.
Yes.
Wink, wink, people.
Yeah. Between the lines, friends.
Subtext.
That's right.
But you know what? This is like honestly the first year of the 3 years that we've done this, that we've done a movie
Mm-hmm.
that we could potentially have done as a normal episode.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
I mean,
this is horror adjacent at least.
right. That's very true.
In fact, I did tell somebody in
Mhm.
my horror movie trivia group that we were going to do this. And she said, you guys could just do that for a normal episode. I feel like this movie's gaining popularity again.
Right. Yeah.
And I have to agree with her a little bit. So let me ask you, pal,
Yeah.
all honesty, because
Yeah.
we're really talking about this movie, and this is going to be an honest review of Twilight.
Yep.
What do you think of Twilight, my friend? The movie.
Right. So rewatching it, or at least most of it, I remember watching it because I've seen it a few times, but it was a lot. Some of it was when it right came out in 2008, where I saw it with some friends, and I know I've seen it more recent, like I don't know, with my wife or something, before doing this, and I liked it better before. But actually watching it this time, I struggled, man. I really struggled more with it this time. And I don't know if I do know, but we'll talk more. We'll talk more. It's more.
No. I keep going. I was because I
Okay.
was going to ask you, why do you think you struggled now?
I think part of it is just I've seen, you know me, I always watch a big part of why I love movies is acting. And we've talked about this. I love acting, love watching the acting. I've seen, and we've even talked about Kristen Stewart, especially with her underwater episode, being a really great actress. Robert Pattinson, same thing. I've seen him do some amazing things where he's just fantastic. I feel like that with most of the cast, but in this movie, for some reason, I think having seen them done so well, and of course, this is earlier in their career, I get that. But there's just some weird beats with some of these characters and some of the choices they made. And I don't know if it was them or the director or whatever. So I'm not blaming them in any way, shape, or form, but there's just some weird things that happen where I was just taken out of it this time. And like I said, I think it's part of it is just because I've seen them be so great before, and then to see them be this, I don't know, makes not as well as I've seen them before. It was just threw me out of it, man. I don't know.
Do you think it was them or do you think it was the script?
I mean, it like I said, I don't know who to blame because I don't know. I mean, the script, it sure could be because there's some lines in this, buddy, that would be very difficult to say as an actor with all sincerity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a number of them where I was like, gosh, that's tough to to say and sound genuine.
Like what? Like what, buddy?
A lot of it.
You said one earlier to me.
I did. The one that, so I I say this line to my wife all the time. All the time. Anytime I go out behind her or whatever, I'll whisper in her ear and I go, say it. Say it out loud. And if she doesn't, I'll like tickle her until she goes, vampire. And I'm like, good, thank you. So that's one of them. Just such a weird moment.
I love it. Did you?
What did you think? No. What did you
Wait,
think?
yeah.
What did you-
Well, we're gonna get to it. Did you
All
read the
right,
book
all right.
ever?
I never did. No, I did
Okay.
not read any of them.
That's what I was gonna get to.
Oh, okay. All right.
I read the book.
You did?
Yeah, I read the book back when it came out. Not when it came out. So let me go further back, my friend.
Please do.
Little Scotty trivia. You ready?
I'm ready.
So as you know, I'm a dailies colorist by trade.
Yes.
When I became a dailies colorist, one of the first movies that I got to work on was a little movie called Twilight.
Really?
Yeah, it was just a couple of days or maybe a few days, maybe a week. They were shooting so much footage of this movie, and a lot of it was second unit shooting trees and stuff like this, all the forest stuff
Right.
that they had a lot of overflow, and one person was not able to get through all the film in one night. So I was brought in, I was asked to help out, and I got to do some. I had never heard of Twilight at that time. Somebody
Wow.
said, "Oh, it's a movie called Twilight. I guess it's a book and it's a big deal."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Interesting. I've never heard of it." So I looked up Twilight and I found out that it was this huge deal.
You're right. Oh, yeah.
So I knew the movie was coming out. I had heard some of the criticism about it. I read some of the reviews on Amazon, but I read the book. In all respect to Stephanie Meyer.
Hmm.
She wrote an extremely well-received and popular series of books.
Right.
And she didn't become an evil person like other famous young adult authors we know. But I did not think it was that well-written a book.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, I did go on to read New Moon, the second book.
Right on. Okay.
I had to give her a chance,
Right.
So I did see this movie when it came out in theaters. I went to see it with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
All this to say, I've seen it a few times. Actually, I'm not sure if I ever saw it again after that first time in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
The second time I saw it may have been this past couple of weeks when we watched it for the movie,
Right.
or for the podcast. I mean, I'm going to tell you, buddy, I don't think this is a horrible movie.
Fair. That's fair.
I think it's cheesy as hell in places.
Mhm.
I think some of the lines, like you say, I honestly don't think it's completely the actor's fault. I think Pattinson and Kristen Stewart do as good a job as possible. In fact,
Yeah.
I find some of the line readings
Mm-hmm.
a little refreshing. The way they portray their characters
Mm-hmm.
and the way they do it. I know Kristen Stewart got a lot of flack for her kind of awkwardness of her
Mm-hmm.
character and the way she kind of stumbles over her sentences and her pauses and all that. But that's Kristen Stewart to me.
Right. Yeah.
She does it in Underwater as well.
Yep.
It's just something I accept about her and I actually like about her.
Mhm.
And I like the fact that she played Bella. I think the way she was portrayed in the book, if I remember right, as a very pretty girl, but kind of clumsy,
Mm-hmm.
which was endearing about Bella. She wasn't the perfect model of a
Right.
girl. She had natural beauty. She was kind of awkward, kind of clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool that this strikingly beautiful vampire fell in love with her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there are some parts of the movie that drag. You know, when I watched it the second time for notes. Hey, I'm dedicated, my friend.
I guess, man.
More than some of us.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. You're absolutely right.
Anyways, I'm just kidding. You know that. I love you.
I know.
The second time when I watched it for notes, though, I did fast forward through a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I just needed to remember the main beats so I could write about them.
Yep.
So
That's fair, man.
I had a good time. I had fun watching the movie. It's fun. It's got its problems, but
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's a horrible movie. Yeah, let's get into it.
Well, one thing we mention this every time, but like I love that people love this movie. We say this about any movie that maybe we don't
Yeah.
agree with or don't. That's great. If people love this, awesome. I'm happy that you love this. If this is your favorite movie, fantastic. I'm happy it's your favorite movie.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
agree.
I love
agree.
that. So, we talk about that. It's okay. That's great. I love that you love it.
Yeah, man.
Period. So,
Yeah, you and I both have movies like the MCU series. For me, what are some movies that are your warm place, your cozy place that you would put on these movies and be like, makes me feel good?
I do like anything up to the Infinity War of MCU for sure. Like any of those are beautiful, fantastic. Or I love the new Planet of the Apes movies. I think those are brilliant.
There you go.
And I could watch those all the time. So, yeah, I definitely have some series that I can watch.
So we have our warm places,
Right.
And
Yeah.
to a lot of people, the Twilight series is their warm place. It's their comfort zone.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
I know somebody very close to you who feels that Twilight is her comfort zone. And we're going to talk about her in a little bit. I love that this movie takes place in Andrew land.
Yeah,
Up
it
in
does.
the Pacific Northwest.
Yes, it really does. And I guess I've never been, but if you go to Forks, there's like the truck is there. You can get your picture with it. It's like kind of their claim to fame. Like they definitely promote Twilight over in that area.
Wait, does the story take place in Oregon?
No, it's in Washington.
There's a real place called Forks in Washington?
There is. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm curious because I don't actually know how far I am from it.
Because a lot of this movie was shot in Portland, Oregon.
Right, but maybe I should. I don't know how much or if any they filmed there, but because it's Forks, they would get tourists there. People would go there, and so of course they have like the truck there, and they have other things. Yeah, I'm a little ways. I thought it was closer than that. I'm about 2.5 hours or so ish from there. I thought it was closer.
The road trip we're taking when I come visit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great if we just had a bunch of pictures together in Forks?
Oh my gosh. That's the dream.
I was going to mention this later, but since you mentioned that already, I am going to talk about this.
Yeah.
I didn't watch all of the behind the scenes extras that come with the movie, but there is this really fun, like 10-minute thing, and it's a tour of the shooting locations of the movie. And Jackson Rathbone, who plays Jasper.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
He's kind of the host of it. Catherine Hardwicke arrives on a plane, and him and Catherine go from place to place.
Okay.
What's really cool is that, like, they go to the cafe, they go to the Cullen house, which somebody lives in, and
Oh, wild,
it's the
dude.
same person that lived there when they were shooting the movie. I
It's a
guess
nice
like
place.
yeah, they rented their place out, and they said that everybody was super like Jackson was saying that all the cast was they were like nervous to shoot in this beautiful home. You know, they didn't want to mess anything up because
Oh.
it was such a beautiful home. But while they are at a couple of these locations,
Hmm.
just randomly fans show up. Because I guess they're like 10 years later, fans are still taking this tour of the shooting locations.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, man, how amazing would it be? Like, you're just randomly, you're like, hey, I'm going to go look at the Twilight locations. Yay.
Right.
And then there's Jasper
Right? Oh my gosh.
and
That's
the
actually
director.
really
But
sweet.
I'm sure they didn't recognize Catherine Hardwicke, you know?
Right. And probably.
But the little girls did freak out when they saw Jasper. They're like, oh my God.
Oh,
You know?
that's cute. That's
Yeah.
sweet.
So I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah, so I like that the movie takes place up there. I thought it was a very nice touch. Like, there's little things that they didn't have to do in this movie, but I thought were nice touches. Like when Charlie and Billy, they're drinking Rainier beer.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that's a nice touch, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to throw in a line about the Mariners, too. They're going to watch the
Right.
Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've been there and you know, it's still my favorite. Seattle is my favorite city in the world, or
Yeah,
in the
dude.
country at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just thought it was a nice touch.
And I don't know, you might know this, you did the research, but I don't know if Stephanie Meyer is from Washington or.
I didn't do that much research.
Okay. Like, I have no idea. So maybe, and I don't know if the books even mention some Seattle-esque or this area stuff too, but I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't know.
I just remember, what was the word she overuses? I can't remember right now. If I think of it during this podcast, I'll let you know. But there was a word I remember that I was like, oh my God, stop using this word.
Oh, vampire.
Yes, that was no. Yeah, I can't remember. I'll think of it.
Okay.
You know, more power to her. Okay, so the only thing I do know
Mm-hmm.
is that Stephanie Meyer had a dream one night, and it was basically Bella and Edward in the field when they're laying in the field
Mhm.
together and they're looking at each other and Edward's sparkling and everything.
Right.
Stephanie woke up from this dream, immediately started writing it down. She said nobody was more surprised than her that she was able to write a whole book. So,
Wow. Dang.
yeah, this was a whole book. And didn't she write, I think she wrote fan fiction, like something before this? I
I
can't
feel
remember.
like that's true. I feel like I have heard something like that. Yeah.
And
Wild, man.
was it Harry Potter fan fiction, or was that something else?
I don't know.
know.
Man, I need to start writing down my dreams though. Shoot, if I can make a popular book/movie series,
Yeah,
we're set, man.
millions of dollars, my friend.
All right, I'll eat some weird foods before sleeping.
Okay, so the supporting cast, we've talked about Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart a little bit.
Right.
Anna
right.
Kendrick, dude.
Yeah, dude.
This was basically her
I know.
start, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was definitely before like
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to say this is definitely her start.
So the one that
crazy.
surprised me
Mm-hmm.
was Christian Serratos.
Mm-hmm.
When I said her name earlier, I know you gave me a look. You were like, who is she? So she plays Angela, the girl with the glasses.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know her. So yeah.
I looked her up and I
Mhm.
was shocked.
Yeah.
That she played Rosita in The
Mhm.
Walking Dead.
And she's now the new Selena in the Netflix series based on the singer Selena.
Yes. I did see that as well. But
Mhm. Yeah.
the fact that she went from Angela to Rosita, man.
Yeah.
Because I always thought she was cute back then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, buddy.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of this movie. Let's just make this clear. Okay? But I did see it. And a couple things stuck out to me. And one thing was that I had a huge crush on Ashley Greene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had a big crush on Ashley Greene.
No, I think it was just me.
Nope, it was you and me, both.
Okay, good.
Yep,
Well, as long as
to
it's
us.
just
Yeah.
you and me,
Yeah, no one else.
I remember thinking that Jackson Rathbone or Jasper
Right.
was such a weird dude.
Yeah.
But this time watching it, I loved him. I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah.
His deer in the headlights look at all times. And the way they explain it is because he's still kind
The
of new.
newest. Yeah, he's the newest one.
So he has less or he has more trouble holding back
Right.
when he smells
right.
blood.
Which is shown at one point.
Yeah.
You know.
Wait, no, when? Remind me.
Oh, that's
I'm
later.
terrible.
Sorry. Never mind. I almost
is it in
spoiled
another movie?
A later one, yes. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Andrew, I haven't seen any of them.
Sorry.
No, I'm
Well, I
kidding.
didn't spoil
I've
anything.
seen them all. I've seen
There's
them all,
just a
pal.
moment. There's just a moment with him. That's all I'm saying.
Have you seen all 5 movies?
I have. I have.
You want to know some Scotty trivia?
Yes, please.
I've seen 4 of the 5.
What?
When Breaking Dawn Part 1 came out on home video, I rented it just because I was like, all right, I've seen the other 3. I might as well watch the other 2.
Right.
And I thought it was so bad that I never watched Part 5. I was like, I just don't care. Which means
That's
we have
fair.
to do all 5 for the podcast.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Especially
Dude.
with how easy it was for you to watch this.
Gosh. Ugh. I do remember though, like I thought the second one, and again, this is from back then or a while back. I
Yeah.
did remember liking the second one better than the first one, and them getting a little bit better. At least I don't really remember Breaking Dawn, I guess, but I do remember Breaking Dawn Part 2. That's not true. There's some cool scenes in that one. I'll say that.
I think it'll probably be better than Part 1 because Part 1 is just like it feels like a single scene just drawn out into 2 hours.
But see,
And
I'm
not going to spoil
that.
it right now. Yeah,
Everyone's
I don't
doing
know.
that. Like, how do we get more money? How do we make another movie? Oh, split the last one. Split it into
Yeah.
2. It's
Yeah.
like, well, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, Harry Potter did it first, and then
Yep.
this did it, and then
Hobbit did it into 3 movies.
oh, that was different though. I feel like Hobbit was different. This was like
Yeah.
this was specifically a final chapter thing
Right.
that they were doing. They did it as well with the Hunger Games.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did see New Moon and Eclipse, and I think I liked Eclipse. I saw it twice, so
Right on.
I think I like that one.
Right on.
Back to casting. One thing that surprised me,
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot that Jacob was even in this one.
Yes. Yeah. For briefly compared to the other ones, obviously. Yeah.
And then when I saw him,
Mhm.
I remembered the whole casting kerfuffle. Do you remember that?
So I remember after the first one, I don't remember what it was or how it was or whatever, but I do remember something happened with him and he may not have been coming back or something, but it laid on me because I do remember something like that happening. Or I don't remember.
My memory is probably as good as yours. I just remember that there was a thing where I think they were talking about casting somebody new as Jacob
Mm-hmm.
when his part gets bigger, but all the fans were like, no, keep Taylor Lautner.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And they gave him the chance and he like shocked everybody at how good he was. And plus how he like bulked up and cut his hair and like became a heartthrob.
Yeah, he got stupid jacked in those.
Which you and I are used to watching MCU movies.
That's true. That's true.
We're used to seeing actors getting jacked up.
Right. Or anytime I see you on the podcast. So I'm just used to it. I'm just used to seeing it. I know.
Yeah, people may not know this, but I am, I wouldn't say muscly at all, for 2 weeks,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But then the day before we shoot or we record, the day before we record,
Mhm.
I take a lot of protein and I steroids. I work out like 12 hours.
Yep.
And then I'm all muscly, but then it goes away the next day.
Yeah, it's just the process of the podcast.
Yeah.
I think most
Thank you.
podcasters that listen to this are like, yeah, that's my exact routine. So,
And I'll say I did it twice as much for Twilight.
I wondered, I said, that shirt's tight. That shirt is tight.
Shirt is
Yeah.
tight. And not in the it's tight.
No.
Yeah. My drip is tight.
I like your drip.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Thank you. But yeah, so they didn't do him dirty. Taylor
Good,
Lautner
yeah.
comes back.
Yeah.
But one person they did dirty, and I never forgot
Oh.
this. Rochelle Lefebvre.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's how
remember
you
that they
pronounce her last
recast.
name. Yeah,
Mhm.
she was playing Victoria in the first two movies, and then suddenly they recast her. I read into this a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I don't know this because I know that they did recast her for sure, but I don't know why.
Yeah, because I remember I worked on Under the Dome, the TV show, and
Mm.
she was one of the leads.
Mhm.
And I remember, I think I had seen her in Twilight at the time. I think I
Mhm.
knew her from Twilight, maybe, or I looked it up. I don't know. Whatever, man.
Yeah.
They recast Victoria with Bryce Dallas Howard, a much more known redheaded
Mm.
actress. I don't think they needed to. I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I kind of have had a crush on her at times.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the official story is that there were scheduling conflicts.
Hmm.
But Rochelle has come out and said that she made sure that when she was in other things, that they were very short shoots that would not conflict with
Mm.
the Twilight series because she loved playing Victoria.
That's too bad.
And that the theory now is that the production company, I forget who put this out, but the production company kind of used one of her things that she was in for like just a couple weeks
Mm-hmm.
as a conflict and said she's got shooting conflicts when we asked her not to.
Mm.
And so we're recasting when everybody seems to think that they just recast somebody known in Eclipse,
Yeah, that
a more known
sucks.
actress. Yeah, I liked Rochelle as
Yeah, I did too.
Victoria.
Yep.
Somebody I didn't care for.
Okay.
And I don't know if I can say his name right. Cam Geigendet as James. He's the main baddie, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Although I wouldn't call him the leader of that group necessarily. I feel like Laurent is the leader of that
Me
group.
too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
James, I don't know. He's like that stereotypical kind of
Yes.
douchey looking guy.
Yep.
No offense to Cam himself. The way that they made him in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't a likable villain, which
No.
I totally appreciate when a villain is kind of like not likable, but you want to see them.
Right. Yep. I agree. The second he's on screen for the first time that you really see him, I guess, is when he kills the dad's friend. I don't remember his name. But yeah, totally. You just like, I don't like you. And again, not the actor necessarily, but just that character is just, yeah, a douche.
What would you say is your highlight of the movie? When you think of Twilight, Andrew,
Mhm.
what would you say is your favorite thing about Twilight?
Baseball.
The baseball scene.
Baseball scene, man. That's all I ever. I don't know if I'd call it highlight, but honestly, in any time I've heard the movie Twilight or whatever, I immediately think of Muse, and
Yeah.
I think of that scene every time. Like that is my go-to spot. If someone mentions it, it just is an automatic trigger. Oh, there I am at the baseball scene.
What do you think of the special effects in that scene?
I don't know, man.
You can say it.
That scene is, in my opinion, super ridiculous. It's just a weird, ridiculous, odd, CGI'd moment scene. But it's one of those things, like, it's hard to explain. It's like and this is maybe not the nicest term, and I'm trying to think of a different way to say it, but it's like a train wreck where you're like, I can't look away. I want to, but I'm like, what's happening? I can't stop. That's kind of how I feel about that scene.
Yeah, but what about when Jasper comes up to bat and he does that little flip thing with the bat? What'd you think about that?
Awesome. Jasper can do no wrong.
What did you think about the moment that Laurent, James, and Victoria show up and they're just like gliding over the ground and the camera is like zooming past them? What'd you think of that?
I mean, perfect. Just perfect. Cinematic masterpiece, that moment. Yeah. Yep.
when they come up against the Collins and they're kind of normal at first, but then they smell Bella.
You're right. Yes.
What'd you think of the little vampire hiss off that they have?
So, this is so bad. There's an episode of South Park. I don't know if you watch South Park.
I haven't seen this
Where-
episode.
No. It's not I'm sure there's a Twilight one. I honestly don't know. But there's a episode where Cartman hits his head, becomes what's that called? Where you can like read minds and see things.
Psychic.
Psychic. Thank you. Gosh, becomes quote unquote sidekick. A sidekick.
He becomes a sidekick.
He becomes a
a
sidekick.
psychic sidekick.
There you go. That's exactly right. He's the Robin with psychic powers. No, he and there's all these other quote unquote sidekicks that are like, you're taking all of our jobs, and they do a psychic battle off where they look at each other and they touch their heads and they go no 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 no, and it's this whole thing, and it reminds me so much of that scene, but they're being serious, which makes it even better. So it it's funny, man. It's just a funny scene.
Can you do that sound again though?
I'm
I'm actually really impressed at how quickly you can do that. Because I
really.
no. Okay, I guess I can do it.
You can do it, yeah.
No. Oh, you do it really fast. Oh my God. Can we just do that for the rest of this episode?
Let me answer.
So fast. You're so fast.
Thank you.
I am so impressed with you right now.
Thanks. Yeah.
Just when I thought you couldn't be the perfect co-host anymore, you became even more perfect.
Well, now I regret not putting that on my special talent part of my resume in Hollywood. I probably would have gotten some more roles, man. Son of a
Probably
gun.
would have been in Twilight.
I probably would have. You can do the shanana. Can you hiss? Yeah.
What did you think about the scene where Bella and Edward are in his bedroom and then he jumps with her on his back and they like run through the trees and he climbs the trees? What'd you think of those special effects?
You mean Spider Monkey? Well, not great. And even the first time when he does it during the like, say it out loud scene. And then he like throws her on his back and then does whatever run that is with, again, the really cool CGI behind him that makes it look like he's running fast. Not my favorite. I'm just like, what is happening here? Who thought this was the right choice?
Man, but when they go up in the tree, or when he climbs a tree, more to the point. Actually, anytime they're floating, whenever actors float in a movie, I always appreciate when they don't look like they're on a cable. And
True,
the cable has just been CGI'd out. But they totally look like they're on cables in this movie.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it's rough. This one's rough.
I got another question for you.
Oh, no.
You're from the Pacific Northwest.
True.
Is it true that it is just constantly blue outside? Like everything is blue?
No, it's always, honestly, at least in the area I'm from, it's always gray. It's always raining.
Yes, but it's raining, but it's not blue like in Twilight?
I don't think so. Not really.
Oh,
I mean, it's
man.
green. Everything is green here. I'll say that. But
What'd you think about the final battle between Edward and James in the ballet studio?
Interesting. I will say one thing that I can appreciate about this and the movies itself is the way to dispose of a vampire. I'm like, that's pretty gruesome for these movies. Like
Can you recap that for us, buddy?
Yeah, you gotta like tear them apart and then set them on fire, like rip their heads off and arms and legs and stuff. I'm like, that's pretty gruesome. I mean, you don't really see it, really, but that compared to what we'd seen up until then, and then you find out like, oh yeah, you just rip them apart and set them on fire. It's like, wait, what now? Where did this come from? What?
I got another question for you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
And this is the meat of the podcast. This is the moment that everybody's been waiting for.
Oh, Lord.
What do you think of vampires that sparkle in the sunlight? And as a bonus question, what did you think of how that was portrayed in the movie?
Okay, so when we first see it, let me portray it first, or talk about the portrayal. Like when we first see it, Sandy and I were watching it, and we're both like, he doesn't even. And who knows? It changes a little later, but like when we first see it, I was like, he's not really sparkling that much. I was like, it's not that bad. So I was like, all right. I don't get it, I guess. I mean, I guess who's to say, like, if a vampire is in the sun, they burn up? Like, I'm not sure where that came from either. But
Well, I mean, I think that came from Bram Stoker, who wrote Dracula.
well, right. But where did I mean, like, obviously vampires are not real. So like, where'd that idea come from? So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why they had to sparkle. I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, I mean, but you're touching on my thoughts on the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody always makes fun of sparkling vampires, right?
Right.
But that's what you just said.
Mm.
You know, the whole thing is fiction. Vampires are fiction, although some people out there probably disagree with me right now.
Yes, I do.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
But vampires are fiction.
Yes.
All the rules of vampirism were fictionally written.
Right.
People have played with those rules. There have been other vampires that are able to be out in the daylight in other works of fiction.
Correct.
So the fact that these vampires have crystalline type skin that when the sunlight hits them, it reflects in sparkles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. It's just another take on the lore. They still drink blood, and that's the main aspect of a vampire that, you know, unless you're an energy vampire, like in What We Do in the Shadows, you know, the main thing of a vampire is drinking blood. That's the whole thing. And every single story we see about vampires plays on that myth and, you know, messes with the rules a little bit.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't care if they sparkle or not.
Yeah. I think that covered it. Yeah, I agree.
Did it look silly? Yeah, it looked a little silly.
Yep, a little bit. Yep, for sure.
But it's also like, you know, the way Bella describes him, and she's like, you know, it's like diamonds. You're beautiful. You know, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, do you know, and I don't know the full story, but do you know who was, I think, either originally going to play Edward Cullen or was like right up there with him? I think he was originally cast, but something happened. But I might be wrong. But do you know?
I don't remember.
Henry Cavill.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no.
Man. Yeah, dude.
When did this come out?
Years later, he's talked about it. Like other people have talked about it. That I can't remember if he was cast or was like one of the final with him. Wow. I cannot remember, but yeah, it was Henry Cavill, which would have been an interesting take, man. Now I'm like, I kind of want to see that.
The thing is, I know you and I have a similar memory of Robert Pattinson because you and I both saw him for the first time as Cedric Diggory.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember he made an impression on me.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
You know, there was a couple actors back then in those Harry Potter movies that made an impression on me, and I can't remember his name, but the one was the guy that played Oliver Wood. Didn't have a big part, but he had this way of talking that I loved. And then when Harry Potter 4 came out, I was like, who is this guy? He's got such a like cool, like I bought his character and I love the way he played him, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
So actually, when I started working on this movie, and I think I saw him in the movie and I'm like, wait, he looks familiar. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the guy that played Cedric.
That's amazing.
And if you told me back then that one day he would go on to play Batman.
Right. I mean, come on.
And do a good job.
Yeah, he did do a good job.
That's true. You know what? I'm going to go watch that movie right now. Be right back.
All right. See you in 3 hours.
I'm vengeance.
Okay, I'm back.
That was a long time for me to wait, dude. I just sat here that whole time. That was 3 hours I was sitting here. I haven't peed.
It's a good movie.
I didn't pee at all.
Really?
No.
You could have peed. You knew I was watching Batman.
Well, I just thought maybe you'd stop it.
I'm sorry. You knew I was watching The Batman.
Yeah, thank you. Let's call it what it is. No, but it's fine. Whatever. We'll just keep going on this.
But hold that thought, buddy, because watching The Batman really made me want to go back and watch The Dark Knight, which is my favorite Batman movie.
No, wait.
So, me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?"
Oh, buddy, that movie, man, it gets me every time. Like Two-Face and Heath Ledger, of course. Oh, man, that's such a
I've
good movie.
peed my pants twice.
Well, I told you the movie I'm watching, it's like 2.5 hours.
I
You
thought
have plenty
you'd
of
come
time.
back.
No, man, it's The Dark Knight. You know how good that movie. You know what?
What?
We did not see that movie together. But we did see The Dark Knight Rises together. So, I'm going to go watch that and reminisce about The Dark Knight Rises when we watched it together.
Please.
We will destroy Gotham. And then, when it is done, and Gotham is ashes, then you have my permission to die.
Oh, man, buddy. Such a great trilogy, that movie. Well, not that movie, but all three of them. I didn't watch Batman Begins, and I'm not going to. But, man,
Oh,
do you remember when we saw The Dark Knight Rises together?
I just woke up. Wait, you're back?
Oh,
Hi.
Hey, buddy. Hey.
Hey, what? What'd you say? Where? What?
Well,
What'd
what
you
I was
say?
saying is the Carver Cafe in Twilight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that location in the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Because when I used to go snowboarding at Big Bear,
Mm-hmm.
there's a place up there, and I feel like it's called like the Little Bear Restaurant or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have breakfast there. And every time I watch Twilight, I see that restaurant, the Carver Cafe in Twilight, and it reminds me of that restaurant that I would have breakfast at.
That's cute. That's actually really sweet. I think Stephanie Meyer is in that scene or one of the scenes of the cafe.
Probably.
Yeah, I know she's in one of the scenes. I don't know which one, but she's there, sitting there.
Wait 1 second. Let me go watch the movie again, and I'll be right back, and I'll tell you.
Oh,
I'm kidding. No, I'm not going to watch it this time.
okay. Gosh.
I've already watched it twice.
Yeah, I don't know if you need a third.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier
Mhm.
the baseball scene and Muse.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the
Yeah.
thing you always thought of when you thought of Twilight.
Yes. Yeah.
The moment I always thought of
Uh-huh.
is the end, because there's the scene. Okay, so Edward and Bella go to the prom
Right.
and they dance outside.
Right.
And I remember I was sitting in the theater watching this, and when that song started up,
Mm-hmm.
when they're dancing, it's a song
Christina
called
Perry?
Flight. No, dude.
Isn't that the one? Oh,
What?
Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, good try though. That was a good attempt.
I tried. She does do one. Maybe it's one of the other movies.
No,
I
man.
can't remember.
So,
Whatever.
as I was saying,
Yeah.
when Edward and Bella are dancing outside in the gazebo,
Yes.
there's a song called Flightless Bird American Mouth by Iron and Wine.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I loved that song back then. It was one of my favorite songs. And I had a little freak out in the theater. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they used this song.
Nice.
And then they used Radiohead during the end credits.
Nice.
I was like, what the hell? How did this get Radiohead and Iron and Wine and Muse and all these? Like, this is somebody has some good taste in music.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So,
Well, I think, yeah, they probably could have gotten anything with how crazy that movie was going to be. Everyone's like, oh, you can use our song.
yeah, but I wonder if they even knew, like, they knew the book was popular, but did they know the movie was going to blow up as much as it did? Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if anyone knew. The book I do know that the book was like huge at that time. It was
But
the
it was
next big
huge.
thing.
It was huge amongst a certain demographic, you know?
True. Yeah, it's true.
Like, it wasn't like, it didn't transcend, let's say, that demographic. Like,
right.
Harry Potter was amazingly popular. They knew that movie was going to be
Right.
insanely famous. I'm not sure if they knew the same thing about Twilight until it came out.
That's fair.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know.
But that brings us to the crux of the movie.
Okay.
And this is what I wanted to ask you about as well. What did you think of Bella at the end of the movie wanting Edward to turn her into a vampire? To be with this guy that she just met
Right.
maybe months ago for the rest of her life as this, well, for the rest of her undead life.
Right,
As
yeah.
as this creature, as this vampire. What did you think of that?
I mean, I got it, I guess. You know, love. So I mean, I get it. I would see. I don't know, because I would think of it too as like in our reality, it'd be pretty sweet to have some superpowers. So I'd be like, yeah, let's do this.
But you have to drink blood.
True, that's true. There's definitely some
Living
pros
blood,
and
even.
cons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think she
Because-
should. Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I mean, you know, our frontal lobes take a long time before they're fully developed. So maybe she needs to wait a little longer to make a big decision like that. But I don't know.
Well, let's be honest. We're two guys talking about
Right.
the end of Twilight.
Right.
My whole thought process, because there was the whole, not controversy, but the conversation about whether Bella was a good role model for girls.
Mm-hmm.
Is it being a good role model to just want to give everything up for this guy?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, that's kind of selfish of her. You know,
Mhm.
she's not thinking of her dad or her mom. She just wants
Right.
to be with Edward. So I decided to get a female opinion on this. And I texted your wife. And it was lovely.
Yeah.
Cindy told me that when she saw Twilight, she absolutely loved it. And she agreed. She understood Bella so well. And she was like, I was in love with Edward, and I would have given up everybody, my family and everything for Edward as well.
I love my wife.
So I guess you just got to let go of, like, it's a vampire movie.
Right.
And then it becomes a vampire and werewolf movie. So you got to let go of logic
Right. Yep.
and the reality of the situation and just look at it from the romantic point of view.
There you go.
Because you know what is weird? The other scene that I always remembered from the book,
Oh, okay.
it's so weird. Of all the scenes in the book, the scene that I remembered the most that always stood out to me was the scene where Edward saves Bella from the bad guys, the
Mhm.
creepy dudes or whatever.
Right. The drunk guys at the
Yeah.
small town or yeah. Yep.
in the alley. Yeah.
Yep.
I always liked that. I don't know why.
I get it. I get it.
The only other thing I'll mention is I was surprised at how good the score was of this movie. The music score.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Not the score at the end of the baseball game.
Okay.
Get it? Sports score
Get out.
music. Okay.
Get out. You're
Sorry.
done. No. Here's my thought on it. Okay, so I've seen lots of like parodies of this movie that are funny, and they use that score. How they use it, I don't know, but they do. So now when I hear that song, or some of those songs, or some of those little riffs that we hear, I think of some of those people reenacting the scene. So it probably is a good score, but I think of funny things when I hear it. So I can't really focus on it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I have now new memories of those songs, so it's hard for me to be like, it's really good. I just think of like someone doing something funny, and I'm like, all right.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I have not
maybe-
seen those parodies.
Mhm.
So, but you do. So when you hear the music, it's recognizable to you, is what you're saying. The
Oh
score.
yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
could pick this music out of anything.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. That
Yeah.
makes me proud of you.
In fact, I can't do this song riff because I'll get in trouble, but like even last night, right as the movie started, I kept doing like this riff from the song. And then
No,
when
you
it hit,
can
I was like,
Do it. You
I
can
was
do
like, no, I can't. Now I'm embarrassed and uncomfortable.
No, do it. Do it. Oh man, if everybody could see your red cheeks right now, it's so cute.
No, because it's like singing, and I can't
Yeah, do
public
it.
sing any. No, I can't.
You can
dude.
public sing. You just
I
did it
can't.
earlier. You did Muse earlier. Now you can't do the score? Come on.
But this one's like I gotta like do falsetto. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I can't physically do it. Like I can't. I just can't.
All right. All right.
I'm
buddy.
sorry.
All right. Will you do it? Will you do it off? Wait, I'm gonna stop the recording.
No.
Okay, it's probably a good thing that you didn't do that on
Yeah, thank you.
into the while I was recording.
Yes, thank you.
that was
I told
bad.
you.
That was
It was really bad.
maybe the worst falsetto I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't do it.
I'm kidding. I love you, buddy.
I love you.
Anyway, the score was done by Carter Burwell. And I'll be honest, like I am actually really disappointed that it is not readily available on streaming anywhere. It's not on Apple Music or Spotify. You can usually find, like with any movie score, if the actual soundtrack album is not available,
Yeah.
you'll find like some random generic orchestra doing a cover of it.
Right.
So you can find that of
Yeah.
the main theme, but I guess it came out like I could buy the CD, I think, for like $30 off Amazon.
Okay.
If you're wondering what to get me for my birthday.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, because I wish I could get it. I wish I could, I like to have the soundtrack to everything.
I know. Yeah. That's so surprising that you can't. I feel like this one would.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's weird.
I do still have the other soundtrack that has all the songs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which
Yep.
that you can't even listen to on streaming because of all the copyrights of all the different artists,
Gosh.
Maybe they don't want to be associated with Twilight. Who knows?
I know.
But one thing that's really interesting that I think this is maybe the last thing I want to say about Twilight
Mhm.
is that when I was listening to the score and I thought it was Howard Shore, but
Oh, wow.
he did the score for the next movie, New Moon.
Howard Shore did?
Howard Shore did.
I did not know that. Wow.
But Carter Burwell did Twilight, and Carter Burwell did the score to one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a very special favorite movie because not a lot of people love this movie, but I do, and that is the live action Where the Wild Things Are movie.
Oh, nice, dude.
It's got one of the most beautiful scores. When I realized that, watching this movie and listening to the music, I could hear it. I could hear
Oh, cool.
the similarities between the Twilight score and Where the Wild Things Are.
That's awesome. That's cool.
You're awesome.
You're awesome.
Ready for 3 questions?
I guess.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
Andrew,
Yeah.
what did you think was the best death or kill in Twilight?
I don't really see anything super crazy in this one, right? Except the end with and I can't remember. I did not write his name down. What's his name?
James.
James. Thank you. We just talked about it. Yeah, his is the best.
I agree.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Did you think Twilight is scary?
Yeah. Scary good. I did not think it was scary. No, I lied to you. I'm sorry.
I agree with the first part. Scary good. Question number 3. Andrew, did you have fun with horror?
I didn't this time.
Oh, no.
Maybe I'll try it again, but I did not this time.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
I did have fun with horror.
Yay. Good.
I actually enjoyed this movie more than I thought I would.
I'm happy about that, buddy.
Yeah. I guess I'm a Twilight fan now.
I've always known that about you, deep down. Even though you didn't really know him, I was like, I bet I could see Scotty being a Twilight fan. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, all that's left to say is thank you for listening to our yearly April 1st episode. Next year, we'll be back to talk about a Serbian film once again.
Yep.
And next week is going to be our episode on a night swim, or on a night swim?
Night swim.
On Night Swim, the movie I picked. So next week, I picked Night Swim, and we're going to watch it, and we're going to discuss Night Swim next Tuesday
Yes.
on our regularly scheduled day.
Yes.
What else do you have to say for everybody, Andrew?
I would also just like to say thank you and that we love you and we appreciate you listening to this episode and sticking with us to this far into this episode if you're still here.
Say it. Say it. Say the word.
Fun with Horror Podcast.
I know what you are.
Say it. Out loud. Say it.
Fun with Horror Podcast.